Whoa.
We need a beat.
Oh, hey!
Oh.
Stop working to our sweet intro music and listen to the Fifth Quarter Fantasycast. I'm your host, Coach V, and I'm joined by my co-hosts and pals, Peepaw.
Throw it up from the kickers out there.
Look out for the anus. and Dr. Dry is also here. Gets introduced after the anus, but that's okay. Doesn't mean anything about his quality. Welcome back for our fourth divisional preview show. We're finishing up around the league after tonight, and we'll be done with all of our previews. But first, how's everyone's fantasy life?
Well, after we concluded last week, after much deliberation about a certain division and talking about a certain superhuman, we were able to pull off the trade with Mr. Joshua Allen and a couple other picks to trade for him. So that went quite well, and I'm happy. We'll see how that goes.
Happy to have him off my team. My team was not winning anything. Him and Amon-Ra St. Brown were my two big pieces, but I needed more the way the other teams are looking. So I'm going into rebuild mode. We are projected 84 points in the first week, and everybody else is in the hundreds. So we'll see what happens. Lots of young pieces. But I am now the proud owner of Peepaw's 2026 first and 2027 first.
Yep.
And he has Josh Allen and a 27 second. So good trade all around. Glad we could make it and work it out. I am now officially in rebuild and no longer have a top-notch quarterback. But Dak Prescott, let's do it.
You can't even say it with a straight face.
You'll be fine. It should be a good year. It won't be a Josh Allen year, but it'll be a good year. It's going to be all good. Everyone's going to be happy. Well, speaking of Cowboys, you have to tell us about a former Cowboy?
Yeah, so we're not drafting this man, but I did see him in person. I want to say it was Thursday, and I was catching a quick flight back from Chicago O'Hare, it was Hall of Fame game night, and none other than Michael Irvin was on the flight, and Charles Haley, and some old white guy with a huge Cowboys Super Bowl ring. They were all heading down to the Hall of Fame. I didn't get to say hi to any of them or anything like that. I did pass by, but I had it in my head what I was going to say. I was going to try to sound really cool and say, "What up, Mike?" Which I don't even talk like that. But I wanted to sound cool, maybe a little fist bump in there, but it didn't happen. But I did sit in front of his brother. So I listened to someone have a conversation with Michael Irvin's relative. So pretty close to a Hall of Fame night. And a cool moment though, there was a little kid, probably about 9-10 years old. He asked his dad if he could go get Michael Irvin's autograph, and he was like, "I don't know." And then the brother spoke up and was like, "Yeah, Mike's my brother. Go get it." And he went all the way up to first class. And I saw that phone pop up. They took several selfies, and he came back with the biggest smile and an autograph. And anyway, that's what it's all about. So pretty cool to see Mike do it for the kids. So anyway, that was a random first time like celebrity out in public moment for me. Only took 36 years to get there.
Well, wait, you're saying that his brother flew economy while he flew in first class?
First class. And so I was in the 22nd row. His brother was in the 23rd row.
He couldn't even splurge for like economy plus or something?
No, he American Airlines 23rd row, last row on the plane.
Wow.
That's always cool.
Yeah. A plus for the kid autograph, a minus for putting your brother back where like people shit. So
Yeah, not cool. Yeah, we were in the stink zone. So, but yeah, it was cool. He was wearing his Fox Sports hat. So I think they were probably covering like Caleb Williams, your former franchise quarterback. But now you have Josh Allen. So don't have to worry about LGBTQB1 anymore. And so anyway, he was probably covering the Bears or something and had to get down for Hall of Fame enshrinement. So very cool. Didn't think that actually happened. I thought all of them took private jets, but I guess he's past that prime now where he can just get on planes and go with the people. He was still first class, but it's okay. His brother wasn't.
The logistics are really interesting how that all works. Like, does the broadcast fly them places, or do they all get first class paid for by the broadcast? Logistics, I'd be really interested to see how that all works out.
He probably has the Concur app and has to get reimbursed or something.
Yeah. Did you ask if you could tag along?
I didn't get to. I did get a picture. It was a side angle. You guys saw it. I was trying to like not be out there, but like kind of get it like kind of nice and easy and then I deleted the picture because I was like, what if me and Michael Irvin are sitting next to each other on the plane and he wants to become best friends? And I'm like, yeah, let's get a selfie. And then he sees like, hey, what the hell's that? And then he sees that I had taken a picture without his permission at a weird angle. And then I have to sit next to him. And then he's like, you know what? I don't like you. In fact, I'm going to tell everybody to unsubscribe from Fifth Quarter Fantasycast, and that would just backfire everything. So,
you made the right decision then.
I did, and then I undeleted it when I realized like we're not sitting next to each other. But
so
yeah,
so what the hell divisions are we doing?
We got the North, boys.
Man.
Oh, that's right. That's going to be fun.
Yeah. Hang on, I got to pull something else up too.
Oh god, that's really funny.
All right, cool. Sorry, I forgot to bring those up. We were chit-chatting too much before the show. So yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the AFC North tonight, and hope you guys are ready to get fucked up with Aaron Rodgers because we got the Pittsburgh Steelers up first. And they have a new quarterback at the helm, Aaron Rodgers. So they also have a new wide receiver one, DK Metcalf. They have a new RB1, Caleb Johnson. So lots of newness going on here. What do you guys like and what do you dislike about the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Who's their backup quarterback? Is it Rodgers or who's the backup? Because I mean, it's just a smorgasbord. I mean, you got so many new guys that have never played together coming together on the squad, and yet somehow Tomlinson, we know every year seems to pull out a winning record. So, not really sure how he does it.
Who is it? Mason Rudolph, the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
He's got out of Tennessee because he was smart. That's right. So, Metcalf, this almost makes me wonder if his draft capital will slip a little bit, and you'll be able to snag him a little bit later in the drafts. I haven't done too many drafts yet to really figure out where he's landing at, but Metcalf would be an interesting pick if he slides a little bit. I think Rodgers will be honing in on him more than likely. I do think that there's one player, particularly plays the tight end position, that Coach is a particular fan of. He returns again for another season. Coach, who's that again?
Pat McGroin Briarman.
No, Jonnu Smith.
Oh.
Arthur Smith is really into that sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't like that Jonnu is taking my ability to expose myself to Pat Freiermuth away.
That too.
It frees up time is what it does.
It's not the same as exposing myself to Jonnu Smith. That just doesn't have the same feel.
Ring?
Yeah. It's kind of like he sees it and he's like, oh. Whereas like Pat Freiermuth's like, ha ha.
Yeah. That's all. Coach, I don't know if you got anything else. I know Pat's your favorite player in the world out here, but
I I dislike Jalen Warren, like not going to be getting like his fair shake to like lead the backfield just because like he's earned that. But I think he's going to be a big part of the offense. But Caleb Johnson's going to take over. Maybe not day one, but will take over like the majority of those rushes. So I think Jalen Warren will always just be that change of pace guy for his career, I guess, at least with Pittsburgh. So I hate that for him because I think a lot of people were excited to just like, oh, cool, Najee's gone, Jalen Warren time. We've been wanting that. Najee's been in our way, and so that kind of sucks. And then I think Calvin Austin has some value. Like they like him. He's been progressing kind of in the background. So maybe that works out as a very, very much like a value pick late in the draft.
Yeah, I think DK Metcalf, buckle up. He's going to get a huge target share. Rodgers is going to hone in on him. I would expect kind of like how he honed in on Devontae Adams. He's got Calvin Austin's fast. We've wanted that breakout for what feels like forever, 2-3 years now, and just haven't gotten it. So hopefully he gets some good usage. Caleb Johnson, I think he's a fantastic back out of college. I was drafting RJ Harvey before him whenever Caleb Johnson was ranked ahead of him. So, but he's definitely a top 5 rookie back in this class. He's got pretty good draft capital in the 3rd round. They are going to utilize him. I think Jalen Warren will still be around, but he kind of got robbed of his opportunity. And I worry about that happening to Tyjae Spears over time too. I think if Spears doesn't flash this year where he takes over a bit more than half the carries, then he's toast. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers, I'm not drafting him. I think he's someone that you can pick up off waiver wires after your draft if you're into that sort of thing, or if you get bit by the injury bug. But yeah, DK Metcalf, expect a huge target share, I would think. And yeah, I mean, Pat Freiermuth is now ruined. Jonnu Smith is weirdly going to be annoying enough to be picked up and then dropped and just all over the place. Yeah, not much else. George Pickens left. Good for him. I think he was truly unhappy there, and he played with just dog shit quarterbacks. So very good on him to get out of there. And Aaron Rodgers is at the helm. It's a new era over in Pittsburgh. I think that's definitely a quarterback upgrade. So not an offense I'm excited about by any means, but they do have some pieces, and they should be easy to figure out for fantasy.
Do you know one of the best pieces they have?
What?
Christopher Boswell, your number 1 kicker last year.
The Bos God.
Because the team sucks so bad at driving the ball down the field that he racked up all these points. So if you're looking for a good kicker, for Chris Boswell.
Yeah, the Bos God, that guy, man, that is a game changer. You know what's crazy? I had last year in the heat of like all of his excitement as a kicker, someone offered me a trade. And they were offering me Young Ho Koo. So the Young Ho was involved. I want to say there was like a couple of 2nd round picks in there, like rookie 2nd rounders, and like something else. And it was like a haul for Chris Boswell. And I said, no, like I can't do it. I just couldn't do it. And it felt so right, but so wrong to be doing that. So Chris Boswell has some trade value if you have him. But don't sell because he's worth holding on to.
I mean, it's potential this offense could be the same as last season. We're good enough to drive, but are we good enough to score?
Right. And Superfan Matt hates what they're doing over there. Also, side note, happy birthday to Superfan Matt. He is turning 43 years old today. So happy birthday. Just kidding, but he is turning like 27 or 28 or something. I forget what he said. Yep. So next we have the Cincinnati Bengals. Honestly, I forgot how to spell Cincinnati, so it's the Cincy Bengals. And it was really late when I made this. now this is an offense that really gets me excited. So definitely one I want to expose myself to over and over again, even if I get in trouble for it. I want some of this action. So Vince the Prince, what do you think of the Cincinnati Bengals so far?
I think they're set up for another great season of offensive production. Minus, did Jamar Chase miss any games last year, or was just the threat of missing games? Just the threat of missing games.
It was just the threat. He played 17.
So but nice to just have that done, and hopefully whatever, if that did any damage or had any effects at the beginning of last year, put that behind everyone and just get on to that next level of offense. Chase Brown is now the man, top guy, top dog. So it's nice to see that. But also T. Higgins, I don't, you know how I feel about T. Higgins. I think
I mean, we're in the same boat.
the opposite. And so yeah, I mean, I think they're ready to like do it up, and I know they haven't addressed any of the defensive needs, so they will continue to need to score a lot of points, which might be the biggest plus in their category because it's really the same offense.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I definitely agree with that. The defense I don't know why they haven't signed players. They have such a struggle signing any one of their good athletes. So assuming they still struggle on defense, similar to what they did last year, offense in theory should thrive, as you mentioned, similar to what they had last year. Wide receiver 3, Andre Yoshivas, he had some bright spots in some deeper leagues. If you're out there looking for a guy to snag, as a potential guy that might have some opportunity if one of the two guys get injured in front of him. So take a look at that in some deeper leagues as a potential. Obviously, we know Joe Cool, Joe Shiesty, and Jamar Chase are going to be top 5 guys at each of their positions. And personally, I'm not going for these wide receiver 2s, kind of similar to what Coach was mentioning there with T. Higgins. But really, we talked about also Chase Brown last week. I think that's some guy that we're all targeting as well, depending on the right draft position. So a lot of good pieces I want as part of this offense, and hopefully the defense doesn't play as well as it did last season, or even worse for that matter, and the offense keep things moving.
Yep, this is one of the teams I'm probably most excited about because they got worse on defense and they already weren't very good. So I mean, and here's how you know it's the best stack that you can get as far as receiver and quarterback go, as far as how high end it is. Jamar Chase is the 1.1 in 99% of season long leagues. He is your 1.1. Don't overthink it. If you have that number 1 pick, just take Jamar Chase. A lot of people like to stack with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow shouldn't be the number 1 quarterback off the board, but he is in that top. He's that top 5. You're comfortable taking him. You want that high upside top 5 quarterback. He's it. But people will take him as the first quarterback off the board at that 3.1 because he's probably not making it back to 412 or whenever it comes back around. So people are willing to do that just to get that that Burrow Chase stack. So Chase Brown, I'm putting him on my God Squad sneak preview. I know he was already on I want to say Coach V's last year. He called the breakout. He was on it a couple years ago. So the first person in fantasy to be on Chase Brown, Coach V. So so that's like his Tank Dell, right? So like we all have that calling of that guy that we called and just called the breakout. So Chase Brown, perfect 3rd round pick. If you waited on running back, I'm comfortable with him as my RB1. So it's, if you go double receiver and you're still in need of a running back and you get to the 3rd round, he's a perfect 3rd round pick, just such high upside. Think Austin Eckler light. So, and this is Austin Eckler from a couple years ago, just highly involved in, screens and check downs. And, he doesn't jump out at you athletically, but he does have speed, and he'll be highly involved in the offense. T. Higgins, he's injured way too much for me to be interested. Someone else can draft him. That's okay. More than happy to miss out on that. So, but yeah, that's, it's a simple, very simple thing. They got a quarterback, they got a receiver, they got a running back. That's what you like for fantasy.
Yeah.
Next up, we're going to get into the Baltimore Ravens. Peepaw, what are your thoughts on the Raves?
Obviously, I think they're going to make another strong run this season. The question, as it always has been, is when is Derrick Henry going to start sliding? So I think that's really going to be an interesting key thing to watch this season. We'll see how he's able to hold up for another year. I know he's got some really, I won't say mediocre, but some guys, I say that as if I could go out there and run against a defense as a running back. Guys behind him, he's hands down the best guy out there on the field for the running back position. So you got him out there, Zay Flowers. They also had DeAndre Hopkins out there for what he's worth. And as Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews back to return again. So kept a lot of the same offense guys we had last year, but I really think it's going to be a battle between the Ravens and the Bengals for the top spot there in the North right there. But a lot of same guys. Similar to what we just talked about, the Bengals. We got really good quarterback, good running back, and a pretty dang good wide receiver in Zay Flowers.
Well, if you'd like to trade for him in Dynasty, I have him on the trade block too. So, because he is a budding asset there. So, anyway, but yeah, Derrick Henry, you can usually get him. He's still at that 1-2 turn, and he's well into his 30s at this point, which is mighty impressive. So he's someone that you're very comfortable with as your RB1. He has that overall RB1 upside, and you can definitely pair him with like a Puka Nakua, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Malik Neighbors. Lots of different combos you can get with that. So very exciting piece to get. Lamar Jackson, arguably the QB1 there. It's either him or Josh Allen, just whatever your flavor is. So Zay Flowers, I think you're comfortable with him as like your wide receiver 2, 3, kind of depending. But I think he can be a good value at times. A lot of people are calling him that he's going to be a bust, but he is not the most efficient guy in the world. But I think you're fine with him on the squad. I might feel like a little bit of a settle pick, but if I'm going to settle, I'd rather settle high. So that defense might be the best secondary of all time. So they're just stacked in the secondary. So I do worry about, them getting ahead by way too much in certain games and then having to, call the dogs off and bench everyone. But, that's not something that should play into any of your decision-making in your drafts. So yeah, lots of things to look forward to with the Ravens.
Yeah, I hope that Hopkins somehow opens up things for Zay in the passing game, just because it's just more of a legitimate threat out there, because Bateman was so on and off and was maybe a deep threat, but never consistent. So if Hopkins can help Zay become that next guy, because it sucks, because I feel like Zay kind of stalled last year when he should have took that next step. So hopefully they can kind of have that. But Henry was just, when he took over these games and they got their big lead, did they really need to lean into their passing game? Not really. So yeah, their offense is weird, because you don't know if they're going to be in the game or out of the game. You don't know if Henry's going to go off and take over the game or not. And so sometimes Henry can be a tough play if they get behind and they need to pass a lot. They may still win the game, but Henry may not get his points. They are kind of a funny team. And, Lamar is really your best play, 100%. You know that. And then Henry's your next best play, and then Zay would be your play after that. And maybe some frustration with Zay and a little less frustration with Henry. So hopefully all their big assets can become more consistent this season.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, next we got the Cleveland Browns. Who is that wild young man?
Wow.
That is Joe Flacco. So the face of the Browns. I didn't know who to put there. Honestly, this is going to be, probably one of the more disappointing teams. But Brown's going to Brown. Let's get into it. I was so excited about Quinshon Judkins, and then,
He ended up on the Browns.
Well, I was still excited, and then he, really browned the bed by, fighting a girl and stuff. And anyway, we don't condone it on Fifth Quarter Fantasycast. Not a good move. And you should be nice to girls. You should, just hug them and be nice. And then you won't have any of those problems. So, but he didn't. So, who do we got? We got Jerry Jeudy as the wide receiver 1, and then Cedric Tillman, and then who knows? So, Cedric Tillman might be a little bit of a sneaky play. I think you can get him on waiver wires. Jerry Jeudy, someone you can get in the mid rounds, who is a wide receiver 1 and probably the focal point of the offense. I feel like he overperformed last year, and I know a lot of people see him as like a great fantasy option, but let's not forget how much he sucked whenever he was over where did he play? Denver. On the Broncos.
Yep.
Yeah, he sucked over there. Nothing special. So I'm not personally drafting the guy. I'm avoiding most Cleveland Browns. Not interested in any of their quarterbacks. I do like Harold Fannin, but he might have Njoku in the way for a couple years, so he might be more of a long-term dynasty play. As far as I think you can get like a sneaky starting running back, depending on the Judkins situation. You can get Jerome Ford or Dylan Sampson pretty late in the draft. I did a mock where I got Dylan Sampson in like the 15th round. So a possible sneaky play there whenever you're trying to close out your draft and you're in those last couple of rounds and you need that upside play, look at one of those Browns running backs, because that's just up in the air right now. But that's kind of my opinion on the Browns. I think the defense will be a lot better than we expect. I think they're pretty stacked on defense, actually. So that might be a good defensive play, but that's what I think of the Browns in 2025.
I still, for what it's worth, I'm going to be most interested to see what happens with this quarterback room, because you can't go in with 4 or 5 quarterbacks into the season. So I think probably, as we all know, is going to be Super Bowl champion Kenny Pickett to lead this squad. Joe Flacco might be mentoring him, but we're going to take Super Bowl champion Kenny Pickett to the house this season, and he is going to tear it up out there, I think. Did we say the Browns were on Leia Brown? I think that's what we got there. Shador Sanders, I mean, I don't know. Think about what you will. Deshaun Watson, we don't condone activity of we don't condone activity of what his doing is. Joe Flacco, probably the best dude on this squad in reality. If he can reproduce what he's done somehow miraculously in the past couple seasons, here and there, had some bright spots, I guess that'd probably be your own upside to the offense. Defense, like I said, looking forward to that, see what they can do. And Njoku, really, he's been up and down, but has also struggled with injuries. I probably wouldn't reach for him at tight end, but if he's sitting there mid-round, where some other tight ends have gone first, maybe you have 5 or 6 tight ends that have gone before him, I would maybe consider taking him if he's still there, potentially, depending on what my other squad looks like for positional-wise.
I think the only thing to add for me would be I was just listening to my boys, the football guys, just yesterday, and they were going on and on about Jerome Ford as a really nice late round pick, especially if you're someone who's coming out the gate with multiple wide receivers in your draft and you're going to just stack a lot of like high ceiling running backs because he's a potential starting running back. It could kind of be like a Jalen Warren situation where he's going to be the main guy leading the charge, but as the season goes on, begins to see those carries. But then if he was to overperform for some reason, he could end up being in a 50-50 situation. So yeah, Jerome Ford could be a nice value pick. So I would encourage folks, from the football guys through me to you, take a look at Jerome Ford because they always hit the nail on the head. And so we respect other podcasts on this show.
Yeah. And and just because we're endorsing Ford, make sure you get your next vehicle at Ken Pilkerton Chevrolet. And now it's time for a word from our sponsors, but not Ken Pilkerton, someone else.
Oh, we have a new sponsor this week, right, boys?
Right.
All right, let's hear it.
Hey folks, it's Angie from Angie's Pet Spa. That's right, at Angie's Pet Spa, we specialize in wash, rinse, and blow dried your dog. That's right, we have a Tuesday special where you can get your dog washed, rinsed, and blow dried for $16. Hey, come on down and see us at Angie's Pet Spa. Grab your dog a handful of Chex Mix and get your dog washed, rinsed, and blow dried today.
All right.
Wow.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Andy.
How late are they open? It is Tuesday night after all.
Angie's is a late night establishment. You can come on in, I think, past 11:45. They're still taking appointments.
Late night.
Even on a Tuesday. Yeah.
They cater to the working people out here.
Well, the working dogs. Get your dog blow dried.
Yeah.
All right, we got one more division left here, boys. The NFC North will open up here with the Green Bay Packers. This was the, bar none, the toughest division last year. We had, I believe, Packers, Vikings, and Lions all within a game or two of each other for the top spot. Yeah, yes. So it was really, really tough out there. What I'm interested in seeing most with this is if Jordan Love is able to. He seemed like he fell off last year. We all expected him to do better than he did. I would like to see him do better this season, stay healthy. Obviously, Josh Jacobs in year 2 with the Packers. Hopefully, he can keep things rolling there. Jaden Reed is one that I was really hoping panned out last year. He had some bright spots, but wasn't as good as I was really hoping for. Obviously, they drafted Matthew Golden, probably going to take away a little bit of the light from Jaden Reed. But I'll be really interested to see how those two pair up with each other and how they're able to work with each other on the field. Hopefully, a good wide receiver 1-2 combo out there.
That's what I'm talking about. Packers. So I'm excited about Matthew Golden. I've heard that he's already the wide receiver 1 there. His jersey number is disgusting. Number 22. So he's going to be rocking number 22, not like a single digit or even like in the 80s or anything like that. So he's wearing like a cornerback number and a running back number. Very weird. But like his reason behind it's really cool. He's got like several reasons, like something about his grandmother, and then 22 teams passed on him. He was the 23rd pick in the draft. Green Bay Packers haven't taken a wide receiver in the first round since 20 or 2002 or something like that. So he's got a lot of like 22 meanings, which is cool. He'll remember it every time he looks at his jersey. So excited about Matthew Golden. It is a crowded receiver room. Anybody could really, emerge, but I like what they did there, taking Golden and taking Savion Williams out of TCU. Dude's a Swiss Army knife. He'll be used in the running game, the passing game, all of that. So anyway, I think they took those two because it's been an underperforming receiving group. Like everybody knows that they're good, but they don't have the stats to back it up. So and they've been having to lean on Josh Jacobs in the run game. For the first time in my life, I might draft Josh Jacobs. I have him on a team or two. I always hated him for no reason. I don't know why. I think it was just he has a common name, and I'm like, maybe he'll put up common stats. Pretty bad reason to not take someone, but I don't know. I always called him Josh Butthole Jacobs for some reason, and but he's not butthole. Like, he's pretty good. So I mean, Jordan Love, I've always liked him as a quarterback. I think he's someone that you're comfortable with him being your backup this year, whereas like he was being taken toward the back end of a top 12 last year. But yeah, lots of, I think it'll be an exciting offense. Looking forward to everything that they have to offer there. So looking forward to see if those receivers step up, or if some of the new guys get a little bit more love. And also their quarterback, not Musgraves, because that's the one who was taken higher, but the other tight end.
Tucker Kraft.
Yeah, Tyler Kraft, right?
Tucker Kraft.
So yeah, Tucker Kraft, he was like highly efficient towards the end of the season. So if you're someone who believes in late season magic turning into next season magic, he might be a good option for if you just missed on everybody and just need to take a flyer at tight end. Tucker the fucker is who you want out of Green Bay.
So yeah, I mean, I think if everyone could just have their wish for Green Bay, it would just be to understand the receiving hierarchy and to have some clarity there. I think everyone would love Green Bay's offense if we just knew this was number 1, this was number 4, and you could just predict that. And so maybe, is this going to be the year after year Kyle Pitts wish, Green Bay edition? Maybe. So maybe Matthew Golden is the answer. Maybe he's not. And then also, I've also, from not just the football guys, there's some other podcasts and some other just kind of sports figures about Tucker Kraft being a nice value. People kind of forgot about him, and then had the nice end of the year last year. So Tucker Kraft, maybe that becomes the 1 or the solid 2 after Matthew Golden. So
he did finish as the tight end 10 last year.
Okay, there you go. Not bad.
Jeez,
and, I hope that Josh Jacobs keeps sucking. I hope he returns to sucking. Like,
so
I don't like I don't like Dr. Dry talking positively about Josh Jacobs. That sucks.
Well, he didn't even suck, and I hate
it. The Broncos are the running back room you don't want any part of because you never know. That's how the wide receiver room feels like with the Packers. It just irks me to no end here because, I mean, we're sitting here with Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, Matthew Golden, Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs. Who's going to do what each week? I mean, and then you got the tight end Tucker Kraft there. You just never know who's going to hit each week, and it just makes it so difficult to select a guy to plug in your lineup each week.
I miss my favorite Packers receiving core was probably like Devontae Adams, Jordy Nelson, Greg Jennings, and every now and again James Jones. If you guys remember that crew, that was a fun because like you could invest in any piece in that offense and be pretty happy with what you got because you were like, all right, well, Jordy Nelson is like my up and coming guy. Devontae Adams is young. Once those guys move out, he becomes the man. Like, and if you had Aaron Rodgers, you were super happy. So, but yeah, that was an exciting time to be invested in that Packers offense. Before we move on to the next team, we did forget to rank the AFC North. So let's do that really quick. And I'll start. I already kind of have an idea. I'm going to go Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, Browns.
I'm just to make things interesting, I'll do Bengals, Ravens, Steelers, Browns.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think I'll finally let Cincy have a chance.
Nice.
Yeah, but pretty much the same as Peeps.
Cool. All right.
Oh.
The Chicago Bears.
Waiting.
Yeah, we know the views go up when we start taking our shirts off around here. So I have for those who like an alternative lifestyle, a shirtless Caleb Williams for the Chicago Bears. Anyway, the viewers can come on in now. Oh, cool. Looks like our favorite cousin, McCardle's back. So welcome. Cousin Alex is back in the building. So we are going to go over the Chicago Bears and what we think of what's going on there. I've heard that they're struggling right off the bat. So I don't know what to think. I've also heard good things. It's all over the place. One exciting little nugget. DJ Moore is taking some reps over at running back. So he might be optimizing his opportunities. He is a little bit older. That might bring a little bit of intrigue to drafting a DJ Moore. I'm not a Roma Dunze guy, so this is just personal bias. I'm not taking Roma Dunze anywhere. I just don't. I think he's going to get overtaken by Luther Burden. Love me some Luther Burden. He was a monster in Missouri in 2023. So last year, if you watch everything, it was the quarterback's fault. He had horrible quarterback play. So I think Luther Burden's going to overtake Roma Dunze. I don't believe in Roma Dunze. I think he's just a random receiver there. So DeAndre Swift, I'll pose a question to you guys. Are we buying into him being the RB1 for this offense, or do you think it's going to be a committee, or do you think they bring in someone outside of the organization?
I'm going to go a 65-35 split with Roschon Johnson. I really was liking what Roschon Johnson was doing towards mid-late last season. And DeAndre Swift's just been up and down and up and down and up and down. So I think it's we more of a committee than a heavy-handed backfield. I just would like to see more Roschon Johnson personally, just to see what happens out there. And obviously we got new coaching staff in Chicago, so we'll see what that changes up some things. I'm assuming it will quite a bit. Obviously with seeing DJ Moore taking some handoffs at running back, that kind of implies it as well. So I'm leaning towards more of a split with backfield.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a messy backfield that you're not going to want anyone. No one's going to rise to the top. And, that could it just shows, like, is DJ Moore just trying to work some things, some gadget things, because they're just not confident in either one, what the deal is. But I could see, too, like them maybe trying to make a splash for a running back if they're looking like they're going to make the playoffs or something like that. But, I don't think I'm not going to personally be trying to get assets out of this backfield because I think it's going to be very frustrating.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I think, what would be exciting, because I think we were all clamoring for the Bears to take a running back. I had dreams of Ashton Genty going to Chicago and how perfect that would have been. Was very excited about that possibility, or even Hampton going there, or Travion Henderson, or something like that, getting something exciting in that backfield. But that didn't happen. So, so now here we are. I think now what could be interesting, if Quinshon Judkins never signs and becomes a free, I don't know what happens there, but I wonder if the Bears can get him, and that would be kind of neat. But that could also add to the mess. Who knows? But I think Luther Burden's going to be, Ben. What's the new coach's name? I forget.
Ben Johnson.
Yeah, Ben Johnson. I think he's going to be BJ's new Amon-Ra St. Brown. So I think he's going to be highly involved. He can be all over the field. But they still also have DJ Moore there. DJ Moore produces year after year. He's done it with bad quarterback play, good quarterback play. I know they drafted Colston Loveland. It feels like a very crowded offense, but I think eventually it'll all kind of sort itself out. So the Bears, I think they've got an arrow pointing up. Hopefully they get it together, and we start to see it all come together this offseason.
Yeah, really the only thing I want to add to that is just Colson Loveland's probably going to be a deep league tight end to look at. That's really where I think he's going to hold his value. But this is another one of those offenses where I think you could have two really good tight ends in Cole Kmet and Colson Loveland. So looking at both those tight ends for those leagues, and wide receiver room, as mentioned, does seem a bit crowded here. So I'm just really most intrigued to see what happens with this offense with it being revamped.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully there's something there with BJ leading the crowd, but it might take a minute. It might take a minute to kind of get all that installed. So people who are thinking Lions day one, Bears edition, they might be rudely awakened after it takes a half season, and it may not. Maybe he doesn't have the pieces that he needs. He did inherit Caleb Williams. I'm sure he's happy, and he likes Caleb, but is Caleb, the guy? We still don't have a good answer yet.
Amen. Oh, so here's a drippy photo. Pretty cool. So we got the Minnesota Vikings, Skull Nation stand up. We're about to preview the fantasy forecast for you guys. And they just had a suspension a couple hours ago, dropped down for Jordan Addison. Rest in peace. What is it? Was it 3 games? I can't remember.
3 games.
3 to start it out. Okay. So anyway, I'm not sure what to feel about this offense this year. I've heard JJ McCarthy looks pretty good. I've heard at times he doesn't look good. If there's anything I believe in, it's the coach. I think he can make any quarterback look good if he works hard enough with him. So he made Sam Darnold look incredible and get a new contract somewhere. I think Jefferson, definitely someone who will get his. He's quarterback proof. He's proven that. Arguably the best receiver in the league. He's a mid first right now, and I think he'll be just fine. Other than that, backfield got a little messier. I'm not investing a ton into that Vikings offense. TJ Hawkinson, a little bit further removed from his injury. I think he might be a good pacifier for baby JJ. So yeah, that's to the extent of interest in the Vikings offense, a little bit less than it was last year.
Yeah, right there with you on that one. JJ McCarthy really is going to be what all eyes are looking at, see how he's able to perform. I think it should benefit him, having kind of gone through the steps a little bit last season. Obviously, he didn't get any game time play last year, but having this kind of be year 2, but really his rookie season, he got that under his belt, a little bit of preseason last year, so was able to work with Jefferson a little bit early last year too. So I'll be interested most to see how he's able to perform. I do have him in our Dynasty League we're playing, so I've been holding on to him all last year. He rode the taxi squad the entire year, just hoping that something happens with him this year, with Justin Jefferson out there as a duo. And TJ Hawkinson obviously had the injury last year as well. He might be a guy that slides late, depending on what people feel about the tight end room out there, just due to his potential injury risk, but still a stud of an athlete out there.
Yeah, I think the addition I have would just be the threat to Aaron Jones with the Jordan Mason ad. Jordan Mason's a competent back, was highly sought after CMC went down, and proved he has a good amount of value. And so how much does he eat into – I don't think he's playing that backup role like he was in San Fran, where he really didn't see the field much. I think he's going to play a role. Maybe it's 25%, maybe it's 30%. But if he's producing in those limited carries, is your Aaron Jones pick not looking so great because he's splitting time, or he's at a 60-40 share with Jordan Mason. So maybe Jordan Mason, nice addition. I don't know. Y'all might have a better idea what he's costing ADP wise, but and Aaron Jones isn't known also to be extremely durable. He's missed a lot of games too in his history. So I don't know what it'll cost you, but worth a look later in the draft.
For what it's worth, I ran a mock draft. They had Aaron Jones going right after DeAndre Swift, mid like 8th round.
Okay.
I think I'd rather have DeAndre Swift.
I think I would rather pick someone else.
Yeah, I think I'll go receiver in that round.
Yep.
But yeah, that's the Vikings. And Vince, get us started here. And we'll let Peepaw, or you know what? Let's let Peepaw do this one first.
I'm honored here.
Deal.
The boys in black and blue. Really, the biggest that I'm kind of low-key worried the Super Bowl run, for what it was worth those past couple seasons, is done. With the departure of 8 coaches that left different teams. So that's a little terrifying to see what happens. A lot of at least the guys on the field, it's more of like a crying is what it is. A lot of the guys on offense stayed the same for last year. I believe offensive line might have had some guys depart or retire, so not great on that end of it. Obviously, with these guys, you're picking your guys. We know who they are. Jared Goff, if you're in a 2 QB league, I think he's a good pick. Your Jahmyr Gibbs, Dave Montgomery, same question we had last year if one guy was going to take the lion's share of it, no pun intended. But yeah, both guys are able to produce. Sun God and Jameson Williams. Tim Patrick kind of had a bright spot towards the end of the year too, had some touchdowns that were pivotal in their season. So super deep leagues potentially look that way. And Sam Laporta and Brock Wright are your other 2 guys. And kickers, obviously Jake Bates had a really good season last year, so hoping he sticks around. And yeah, a lot of the same guys that were on offense that you drafted last year are still there this year.
Yeah, I think they're going to be fine. I think it's going to be a good year. I think Big Dan the man is who sets the culture there. And I think of Dan like I think of the Titans whenever they had their
Mike Variable?
Yeah, like whenever they had their more like big personality, there's a certain number of wins and good games that kind of coach can like get out of a team. And so I'm not worried about the Lions after losing a lot of coaching staff. It'll be different, but it could be different in a good way. Like maybe those people who own like receivers for the Lions are a little happier more consistently because they're not going to run the ball as much. They're going to throw the ball a little bit more. We want to see Sam Laporta have a bounce back this year, and I think he's due for that. I don't know what the hell happened last year with him, but that can't be him. You don't have that kind of rookie year and then have that kind of fall off and then like don't find some balance back to like what you really are. So I really hope he has value. And maybe last year really hurt him. So in like redraft, you might be able to get him a good bit cheaper because last year he was hella expensive and not worth it at the end of the year. You're pretty pissed about it. So yeah, I would like to see him bounce back, and I'm not that worried about the coaching staff turnover.
Yeah, I don't think I'm worried about the coaching staff turnover. If there's anywhere where it kind of makes a difference for me, it's like 1% worry whenever I'm choosing between Bijan and Gibbs, right? So I'll lean Bijan just slightly just because of the coaching change and not sure what to expect. Jahmyr could get even more work. Who knows? But one thing that I'm really buying into this year is the Jameson Williams breakout. We saw a mini breakout last year. We saw some blow-up games. Give that man a little more volume, and he could really be something in fantasy. So he's fast AF, boy. Let him get the ball a bit more. St. Brown. So St. Brown is one of those. He's so consistent, always a wide receiver one. For some reason, I don't see a lot of hype about him this year, and I'm not fading him, but he's not someone I'm excited to take at the 1-2 turn. Like it's, I feel like you're definitely getting good value. You're cool with it. You're fine, but there's, I don't know, just I feel like there's higher upside guys, but his floor is so high, and he still has those breakout games too. But for some reason, I just can't get too excited about Amon-Ra. I don't know what it is. Obviously, I traded him away in a league this offseason in a dynasty. But I don't know what it is. It's hard to put my finger on. But anyway, I think the Lions will still be very good this season.
I'm almost wondering if a bold take for Jameson Williams to take that leap to like a stud wide receiver too, like we think of with the Eagles. You got 2 really top tier wide receivers, and the Bengals got 2 top tier wide receivers, just to name some examples out there. So I'm thinking he's got the potential to make that leap this year. He's been in the league now a couple years, really starting to gain Dan Campbell's trust, I think. So all of that's pointing to good things. We keep the same quarterback, which obviously doesn't hurt.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Goff is a good late, like you missed out on the first 10 and like you're that last guy to take quarterback. I think you're going to do just fine with Goff. Try to stack him with a St. Brown or with a Laporta or with a JMO. JMO might be the easiest of the stack there. So yeah, I mean that's the NFC North. Anyone have anything else to add about the Lions before we rank these guys? All right.
Let's do it.
Let's get this money.
Oh gosh. I don't want to go first.
I'll go.
They finished so tight last year. It's so difficult to.
They did.
And they were all so good.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go Lions, Packers, Vikings, Bears.
We'll go with the Lions, Packers, Vikings, Bears.
Yeah, that's really the one that makes the most sense. If I say anything else, then I'm just saying it to be different. But truly, in my heart, that's how I think it's going to shake out.
Yeah,
I think it's going to take a little bit for the Bears to figure things out with Ben Johnson, and with what he brings to the table. How tight? I don't think it's going to be as tight as it was last year with 2 runaway squads, but we can be interested in watch.
Yeah.
Ooh, what we got here? Let's move on.
And then Peeps, you said you were working on something too.
Yeah, I got a couple slides. If you want to do yours first, and I'll show mine next.
All right, cool. I'll show you.
I got 3 slides.
All right, cool. All right, so draft me, Daddy. So everybody loves him. He's big and knows how to work it. James Cook. So are we drafting this man or are we passing on this man?
I'll draft him because he's the only other asset outside of Josh Allen that you can take a chance on. I know it might be a little riskier this year than previous years, but I'd still take a shot at it. Yeah.
I'll take him as well. I think, and the reason I'm going to take him is because I think his ADP is probably sitting in a range where he feels like he's getting treated more like a running back 2 than a running back 1. So for that reason, I'm going to draft him.
I am of the opposite mind, and I'm gonna bench. I'm gonna pass on him. Has he shown? He's shown up to camp, hasn't he?
I know he was won that new contract.
I know he was wanting that new contract, and he was kind of holding out or holding in. I don't know if I should have done research on it before I posed this question, but
He has not. He did not practice yesterday
So
due to the
you know,
contract.
yeah, so he's still wanting that big contract. I think I'm more prone to draft Ray Davis than James Cook. I think he's a sneaky play. Obviously like last round of the draft or something, but James Cook had a ton of touchdowns last year. I think he's due for a lot of regression, and I think he will not return value on where he's being drafted at. So, James Cook, we are a bit split on that. Next, we got T. Higgins, just fading into the dust.
I can't, between his injuries and then he goes out there and plays 2 snaps and my ankle hurts now, but it was hurting before the game even started. But I tried and I can't get you any points now, so boo-hoo. No, I can't. Like, just get him out of here. His upsides are great, but his floor is so low that I'm like, no, there's so many better options out there. Just like, bench me, daddy, bench me. He's just begging me to do that.
Exactly. Yeah, everything that you just said. So I mean, yeah, I'm not interested in T. Higgins. The main thing that gets me, it's it's the injuries, but it's I'm healthy, and then sometime in the first quarter getting injured and giving you a nice little 0. So he can get benched for all I care.
Yeah.
Coach, can you change our mind? Oh,
Higgins is the worst player ever. And not that I was going to trade my best fantasy assets for like this crazy list of shit that Scuba Steve keeps sending me. But
Oh no.
the second he sent me one of those crazy lists that included T. Higgins, I was just pissed. I was like, no.
I'm out.
Don't you ever send me T. Higgins ever again.
We won't even do business for a stick of gum. You got that? You catching me with it? I don't know you. Get out of here. So, Devontae Adams, we all know he loves Taco Bell. He has one in his house,
or had one. I don't know if he's got a new one in his new house.
Yeah, and he's in LA now.
Yeah, he didn't have to go far.
Yeah. So I know I will go first. I'd be happy to draft him. I like him there in LA. I know Puka's in town, and I think they're going to complement each other very well. Devontae Adams, he keeps showing up. I know he's older, but he just keeps showing up. So just consistently finishing as a wide receiver 1 until he doesn't. It's kind of like a Mike Evans thing at this point. Until he doesn't do it, I'm in on it.
Yeah, I was bought in on him last year, and I think I'm going to, once again, just like James Cook, if his draft capital was a little bit higher for where his position was going for being taken in these drafts, I'd probably be more cool on him. But I think based on where he's going, he's, a lot of these first wide receiver 1s for these squads are going off the board already before him. So he's really fitting in that wide receiver 2 role, but he's obviously in that next tier of these wide receiver 2s. So if you can get him there where people are, tailing off of these wide receiver 1s, starting to hit the wide receiver 2s, I would definitely take him there just because he does have such a good upside that he keeps producing every single year.
Yeah, you got to go get Devontae. He's going to do well in his new spot. As long as he's got consistent quarterback play and he's healthy, he does well. So we don't have any indications that he's not going to do well this year.
And I think Stafford's probably a really good quarterback to have in his backfield too.
Yeah, definitely. So that is our first triple draft me daddy of the evening. We got 2 more. So RJ Harvey, who wants to go first here?
Not me.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I'll draft RJ Harvey, especially if it's a redraft. He should be far enough back in the draft that you wouldn't be too upset if the running back carousel continues to be confusing and very happy if he finally brings order to the running back carousel.
Yeah.
Bench me.
Oh.
He's with what Sean Payton showed us last year. I can't trust the backfield for what it's worth at all. It's too risky for me. I ain't touching it.
Yeah, I'm gonna save him. All right, so I'm in the draft me daddy camp on this one. In fact, I'm gonna add him to my God squad this year. So
Ooh.
here's a bold take. All right, so I think he's got all the makings of someone who can just be awesome this year. I'm not worried about J.K. Dobbins. Yeah, the threat of the crazy coach is a little scary. He could completely frock us. Who knows? But I'm willing to take a big swing on R.J. Harvey. He's going in like the 5th round. Kind of a good spot where I'd be comfortable taking him. Definitely he's one of those guys I fell in love with his college tape. He can do it all, but he's struggling a little bit with pass pro, but that's usually like the last thing that rookies get, I've heard. So very excited about RJ Harvey. Randy Jr. is a draft me daddy for me.
That almost deserved like a pinky up.
Yeah.
Draft me daddy.
I used mugshot, but Rashee Rice, this one, and I've gone back and forth on this one myself. I might need more time if someone else wants to go first on Rashee.
What's his ADP? Because I think that's really what it's going to depend on.
Yeah, we probably need to know this.
Depending on what his ADP is. Okay. I'm not going to touch it with a 10-foot pole. I think the unknown of, I think we'll figure out here in the next probably week or two, similar to what we just figured out with Addison. I think we'll figure out what the suspension is going to be at some point. Did you say something?
Yeah, I think he's about a 5th round pick.
Okay. Yeah, that's too rich for my blood. I ain't touching that. I don't. Yeah. We don't know what the suspension is going to be. I imagine it's going to be much higher than what Jordan Addison got, and for someone to sit out half the season on your bench before playoffs, I think you lose way too much steam wasting a draft pick at that round.
Yeah, I've gone back and forth so many times on this, and I think right now I'm a bench me daddy because of the ADP and what you have to pay for him and the small amount of games that you're going to get, which, it could be 6 to 8 games. That's what I would think it would be, 6 to 8. But I don't know. I've also been on record calling him a league winner. Like we saw the crazy pace he was on last year before, Justice kind of he got served justice in a different way via Patrick Mahomes injuring his own receiver. But I think and it kills me to do it because I know he's got league winning upside if everything breaks the right way. But it is a bit too risky for a round 5 pick. I'd much rather take like an RJ Harvey there.
Yeah, I'll play the scenario where I'm like in a redraft and his sentence has already been handed down. If we know what it's going to be, then I'd probably take him. But if I had to draft today, then I wouldn't take him. So, because like you get that every once in a while. Like we have this. It seems like you get that at least someone every year who like has a suspension or a weird injury, and you either draft him super late or you pick him up on the waiver a few weeks earlier than other people are thinking about him, and then you end up with this like really great player at the end of the season. I think he'll be that for somebody this year, but what are they going to pay for him in the draft? or what are they gonna? How much of their waiver wire, budget are they gonna have to do? All that kind of stuff.
Now,
Do you think he's like the guy in We're the Millers, where he like has the tattoo that says no regrets, but it says Badlands, but with the Z instead of like an S? Yeah. Where's your favorite national park? Oh, the Badlands.
Rasheed doesn't strike me as a big national parks guy.
Well, he spelled it wrong, so he probably doesn't visit them too often.
Yeah, we know he visits the highway often. But yeah, I mean, so here's a scenario, and what would change me from a bench me daddy to a draft me daddy if he were to slip to round 8 or 9. Like, that's when give me the suspended guy if he's suspended the first half of the year, because then you can throw him on that IR depending on your league settings, but you should be able to throw him on IR. And then you have an extra spot where maybe you don't have to draft a kicker or defense, and you can pick that up off the waivers, preferably defense, so you can get that top 5 kicker. But yeah, I mean, I would say if he goes down to like round 8, 9, 10 or later, I would draft that man in a heartbeat, but not round 5. It's just too rich for my blood. And that's what's up.
All right. We got Chris Olave. Obviously, wide receiver 1 for the team. Unknown quarterback play. He's slipping pretty late with his injury and with the quarterback. Draft or not?
I wouldn't draft him because there's just no one to throw the ball to. Like, it doesn't matter how good you are if there's no one to get the ball to you.
Yeah, you got Tyler shucking it up over to him, but other than that, not a lot. I'm passing on him. There's just more upside guys that I'd rather have. He's had several concussions in his career at this point. He was someone I was going back and forth on earlier in the offseason, and ultimately I've landed on I just don't want to have shares of Chris Olave. So anyway, for some reason I called him soft for a long time. He just seems like a soft receiver compared to others. Just doesn't have that dog in him. One of those unmeasurable Dr. Dry stats. So, I would definitely avoid Chris Olave in season long for sure. And that's doctor's orders.
All right. Who are you taking for the backfield? Bucky Irving or Ashton Genty in redraft leagues?
Ashton Genty, please. I have the upcoming 8th pick in a 10-man. I'm considering Genty at 8. Bucky, he's more of like I think he's going in like the early 3rd, late 2nd in some leagues. Genty, he's the number 3 running back for me. So I think his ceiling is number 1 overall. He's got that in there. He could surprise to that point. I think he's got a safe floor. To throw out some stats, first round running backs have an 86% hit rate. Top 10 drafted running backs in the last 10 years. You look at the names on the list, it's about 100%. And he was dominant in college. Sign me up for Ashton Genty.
Yeah, I'll take Genty in this situation.
Ooh.
Bucky's great. But
Bucky's fine,
but there's still confusion. I mean, there's still confusion, like who's doing what, and there's zero confusion in Oakland. Like, we know who the guy is, so I like having the guy, even if Bucky's more dynamic. And Bucky could turn out better, like points wise, but there's just less mystery there.
I didn't think this would be a clean sweep, but I will take Ashton Genty because we know what Pete Carroll brings, and that offense he does support running backs, and he's the clear running back. So I will take Ashton Genty in this situation if I had to pick. All right, we got one more. CJ
Cool.
Stroud, will he finish the 2025 season as the QB 10? For comparisons, 2023 is rookie season, finished QB 11 after 15 games, and 2024 QB 18 with 17 games. Obviously, we know who went down.
Can I get a Dale? Yeah, brother.
And that obviously hurt. So, what do you guys think? Playing a full season, assuming he's healthy, Nico Collins, wide receiver, one of the best out there, quarterback 10.
I'm looking up. All right, so dang, Fantasy Pros has him 17th, but I don't think he's that bad.
No, I don't think so either.
No. Let's see. You got Lamar, Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, and then you got that next tier: Mahomes, Mayfield, Nix, Murray, Goff, Fields, Purdy. I think he's around 10. It's for me. I think I'd have him like 12, 13, somewhere in there. Just slightly missing QB 10. But he's definitely got the ceiling to do a top 10 finish. But I'm gonna take the I guess would that be the under?
Sure, whatever you want to be.
QB 11, 12. I'll take the under there.
We make up the rules.
Yeah.
I originally had said a QB 12. They do have Jaden Higgins sitting out there as one of the guys they drafted this past season. Christian Kirk comes over, and Dalton Schultz, we know how we feel about him as well. But we all like the promise we saw out of him in his rookie season. I'm going to go QB 12-ish, personally, I think. I would love to see him play a full season, stay healthy, and have all his guys stay healthy. That'd be a massive stride to probably help him finish above where they were saying at the QB 18.
I'll believe in him. I'll believe in him. Is under good in this scenario?
Whatever you want it to be. There's no rules.
He'll be 10. He'll be 9 or better. So I believe in the bounce back this year, even without our boy Tank.
R.I.P.
Tank the Dank, Dale.
R.I.P. to Tank. He's a true legend.
We'll see what we truly think of CJ Stroud next week, because we'll be putting together our top. What are we doing? Top 30 at each position, composite rankings. So I think how we're going to set it up is we're each going to do an individual, and then I'll put together an average, and I'll have the FQF ranking, the PPAW ranking, the Dr. Dry ranking, the Coach V ranking, and we can kind of see where everyone's at. So that'll be a fun episode, and you can kind of see. I might even try to put in like a little green arrow or a red arrow to see who's higher or lower on the composite, and like make it real appealing. So that'll be fun. And that's what we're gonna do next week. But hope everyone enjoyed the episode tonight. Just so you know, you can become part of our inner friend circle. We are on the YouTube machine at Fifth Quarter Fantasy. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, comment that we look cute or something, anything to help the algorithm. We did get up to 3 viewers tonight, which we had 4 last week. So slowly taking over the YouTube machine. You can also join us over on Discord, Fifth Quarter Fantasycast. We'd love to continue some of these conversations, some of these takes that we have. And then you can also find us on the Facebook machine, Fifth Quarter Fantasycast. And then we are on X at the number 5 TH Quarter FC. So we got a new social media manager who is running a few of these accounts, and so excited to get on the socials and become good friends with all of you. So, but before we leave, there are 5 things that we have to do. Coach V, what are those 5 things?
You gotta live. You gotta love. You gotta. Oh shit! When you add those words, it fucks it up.
I know. Yeah, you were
extra
floating.
words. You gotta live, love. Oh shit!
You gotta
live, laugh,
Yes.
love, like, subscribe. Fifth Quarter Fantasycast.
Thanks.
There they are. I don't know.